Well,
they are who we thought they were.
The Orange spanked Wagner in their lowest attended home opener in 35 years, but the attendance did not affect Syracuse's play as they scored the most points in the Babers era, dismantling the Seahawks 62-10. We'll go over the game, this week's poll, your fan feedback, and of course we look ahead to Saturday, September 15th at noon. FSU comes to the Dome. I'm Sean. This is the Cuse Militia Podcast.
Is that an orange in your pants, or are you just happy Cuse won? Make some noise, Orange fans. It's time for the Cuse Militia Podcast with Sean and Joe. Give us a like on Facebook at Cuse Militia Podcast and follow on Twitter at Cuse Militia. The right of the people to keep and wear orange shall not be infringed.
All right, what's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to the Cuse Militia Podcast with Sean and Joe. If you like it, please share it. What's going on, dude?
What's up, bud? What's up?
Not a whole lot. All right, so we got a couple polls to go over. Obviously, the game. We're going to do that. We got fan feedback, and we have the FSU pregame to do. But first, it is betting season. The NFL is now in full effect. The NCAA has been in full swing for a couple weeks. And you know what that means. It's time to put your money where your mouth is. And when I try to put my money where my mouth is, I use MyBookie. Remember, who you're betting on is just as important as who you're betting with. That's why I always tell people to bet with MyBookie. Trust me, they are the best bet this season. They've been in business for years, have great online reviews, and their mobile site is easy to use. I would only recommend a service to my listeners that's been good to me. That's why I'm urging you to make your way to MyBookie. You win, they pay. They have in-game live betting, the most rewarding player perks in the business. And for you fantasy guys out there like Joe, who's in 20 fantasy leagues, you can even bet on the over/under on how many fantasy points a player will score each game. So join MyBookie today, and they'll match your deposit dollar for dollar if you use the promo code CUSE to activate the offer. Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie. And don't forget to use the promo code CUSE when creating your account to claim up to $1,000 in free play. You play, you win, you get paid. MyBookie. All right, so let's do these polls real quick. So we had like a pregame poll that we were going to put out after the first game, and then I put up one again yesterday. So let's just hit this one real quick. The first one was, after watching the first FSU football game of the season, how has your perspective of the team changed? Or has your perspective of the team changed? And out with 12%, yes, worse than I thought. Okay, well, I don't get that, but
I don't know what you're expecting.
I know, what were you expecting?
17 points in 2 weeks. We're 2-0.
So at 33%, yes, better than I thought. Okay, you got some people getting their minds changed a little bit, and then with 55%, no, it's what I expected. So, Joe, what did you think? About what you expected, or were a little better than you thought? Obviously, they weren't worse than you thought.
No, definitely not. I think right there in the middle.
Yeah.
I think it's exactly. Babers hit it up in his post-game preview that they basically they are where people expected them to be. So. Right.
We'll get into the game, but they've scored a lot of points, 117 points in 2 games. I mean, that's pretty good. The second poll, the one that I put out yesterday, it's got 292 votes on it. Attendance was the lowest in 35 years for the Orange home opener. Why? At 9%, make a bowl game, and I'll see you in 19. Okay, and 9%. So there are those out there, and you knew there would be. At 12%, beat FSU, and I'm in. In other words, beat a team that's worth beating, and maybe I'll show up. At 14%, losing interest in Orange football. I'm a little disappointed by that, but I mean, it's expected, right? I mean,
I don't know. I think that it's kind of weird. I would rather an answer be that they just don't care, other than or like the ones that say make a bowl game. But I don't really understand they're losing interest because even though we've been 2-4-8 seasons, I feel like there's been a change and we are getting better. So I don't know. That's difficult for me to understand.
Yeah, I would agree. With 65% out of 292 votes, Wagner not worth my time. Now, if it's me, I mean, I do kind of, I can see both sides of this, but if it's me, I want to go watch Syracuse beat up on a team. Don't you want to watch them rack up some points and beat on a team? I think that's fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't.
Not to mention
that.
it was the first home game of the season after we just won that road game, and John Wildhack, the athletic director, he had talked about the different changes that they were having up on the quad and some of the changes that are helping the game day experience for the fans and stuff like that. So I definitely would have been down if I was still living up there. I definitely would have been up there checking out the difference, seeing the atmosphere of the students and seeing what's changed so far. I can honestly say I'm really none of these, but out of all of them, I guess I could understand beat FSU and I'm in. I don't know, but anyway, all right. Well, that's it. Well, what's pathetic about that?
Well,
Texas
a lot of
A&M,
things. Go ahead.
Well, I know Texas A&M, they probably have way bigger enrollment and everything like that. But at midnight, the night before their game against Clemson, they had a pep rally and 50,000 students and fans showed up. And it's just like, dude, they had double what we had in a midnight pep rally the night before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's when you think about, when you try to put numbers like that. I mean, I know that our student body isn't that big, and that's probably mostly students that went to that, but still, it's pretty
I think
tough to swallow.
It's kind of going to be, I don't want to say make or break, 'cause I don't believe it's going to be make or break, but it is definitely going to be telling if Syracuse can get on a roll, if they can put butts in the seats. And I always said the wins got to come before the butts in the seats. That's just how fans are. That's how their mindset is. So, the Seahawks leave the Dome after getting walloped 62-10. Dungey was 71.8% with his passes for 218 yards, 1 interception, but he did have 5 TDs to 5 different targets. That ties a school record with Ryan Nassib and Zach Mahoney. DeVito struggled again, hitting 20% of his passes for 23 yards. The ball got spread around, though, pretty good. Like I said, Nakeem Johnson led them with 65 yards and 3 receptions and a touchdown. Sean Riley was an absolute standout with 6 receptions, 54 yards, a TD. That catch was on a deflected pass thrown to Jamal Custis in the end zone for Georgia's first score. It's a pretty remarkable play. But I don't know which one was bigger, that or the punt he blocked that Troy Williams caught for an easy score. So and he was just all over the place. Special teams stuff it matters. Devin Butler, Taj Harris, Sherrod Johnson, Dante Strickland, Ravion Pierce, they all caught passes. Jarvion Howard lit it up late, 9 carries, 69 yards. Strickland, 2 TDs on 9 carries for 35 yards. All 3 of Wagner's quarterbacks got picked off at some point. Luke Masai was yanked after the first possession. He threw an interception. TJ Litton came for him, ended up getting hurt in the third. Graham Lindman then came in for him. They combined for 239 yards at the end of the day. Foles led Wagner 47 yards on 21 carries. The team averaged at the end of the day 41 yards, 41 carries. You do the math on that. Freshman Andre Cisco, easily dubbed the Cisco Kid, impressed again with 2 interceptions. He has 3 on the year. Junior Andrew Armstrong led the defense with 11 tackles, 6 solo. So, I know it's Wagner. It's a D1 AA team school, and it was 62-10. It was a complete ass whooping. But no matter how you slice it, you can't like Dale Earnhardt always said. You can't put a brick in the seat and make the car turn left. You got to actually go out and do it and execute. And they did the whole game. So it was a little frustrating in the first quarter, the first couple drives, but. We ended up we were just too big for them. I mean, we averaged 5 yards a carry and 5 touchdowns through the air. We definitely had the size. You could see it. And it was nice to finally have one of those games where you could just, breathe a sigh of relief and just sit back and kind of watch, So. Yeah, it was fun to watch. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought so. I mean, obviously, that it's not it was an expected win. It's a D1 AA school, but
Well, Florida State played a D1AA school too.
Yeah, but there's different.
I understand
caliber
that,
D1AA school.
I understand that, but they still did, and they squeaked it out. But
James Madison's the president, bro.
So, what do you think? There's going to be a little hubbub about DeVito, I guess. Kind of getting his sea legs still.
You got to throw him in there, and of course, you probably had the rumblings. I know that they asked him in the post-game conference, and they asked Dungy about it too, about keeping him in through the third, and if he did that because of last week. And I just think that's just a dumb question.
Well, you can't do anything. Babers can't do anything right.
Yeah, of course.
Him out. He gets criticized for pulling him out too early, and he gets criticized for keeping him in too late.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So at the end of the day, obviously the first game was dominated by offense, by the offensive line in the rushing game, 384 yards and 5 touchdowns through just on the ground against Western Michigan, and they wanted, they didn't like seeing just one receiver, Custis, catch a ball in the first game, so he figured he'd keep Dungy in there. They needed the extra practice, and they, as you could see, shuffled through different receivers. 5 different receivers caught a touchdown, and that's what they wanted to work on because that's what they lacked in the first game. So that's why they kept them in that long, and it's just at the end of the day, it's just going to help for the team. So, and we needed it. So that's just what it is.
Dungy.
And everything's been pretty vanilla too, if you've noticed. I mean, we haven't opened up our playbook. You can tell. Yeah. I mean, the first game we lined up and we ran down the throats, and Dungy, he scrambled for his life, and our receivers kind of struggled a little bit. But this game was the pretty much opposite. I mean, we definitely do have a good ground game, but I think we only had 215 on the ground or something like that. But obviously, in the air was a little bit better, and that's kind of what we needed. So these first 2 games really is not what the finished product is, or even what the finished product could be if we were playing possibly a more difficult team prior to next week. So we're going to see some stuff next week that we haven't seen all year, and I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. So how about the freshmen on the team thus far, especially last game? You got Cisco with 3 interceptions. Trill Williams, he saw the field on special teams and got that touchdown blocked by Sean Riley. Jarvion Howard, what'd you think of him? 69 yards and 13 carries. Taj Harris also with his first touchdown.
Yeah, that was a nice touchdown catch by Taj Harris. Hopefully he can get in the mix and stay in that rotation. He looked not that bad. I mean, you could see the talent. He looks a little undersized, obviously, as a true freshman, but just excited to see a kid with that frame and that kind of skill set, and just if he fills out, puts 20, 30 pounds on, he could be pretty dangerous. And Jarvion Howard is just, I mean, he's not built like a true freshman whatsoever. And when he got in there, he really had no problem running through there. I don't know if it was Wagner's second team. I don't know if it really would have mattered, but he caught him either when they were tired or the second team. But either way, he looked very impressive. So, and obviously Cisco, Trill Williams on defense. Juan Wallace has been a pretty big contributor on special teams. So those guys are probably going to you're going to see them in the mix pretty much probably all year. Ed Hendricks is another true freshman receiver that might end up seeing playing time if this knee injury, if he comes back from a knee injury here shortly. But yeah, I like it. I like it, Sean. And I like there's a lot of true freshmen playing too, and I like the excitement.
Yeah, I mean,
well, true freshmen and redshirt freshmen, I meant, is kids that sat out last year.
Right. What we're going to get to, the exciting thing is that they're getting in the mix this early, and we get to see these kids, for a few more years. So, and Smith, our kicker, 14 for 14 on extra points and 4 for 4 on field goal attempts with a 50-yarder too. So
yeah, he's been pretty impressive.
Yeah,
so.
That's I mean, all those little things that we didn't have last year, is kind of a big deal. So, real quick, what'd you think of the crowd? Were you surprised by that? Were you just disappointed like me? I wasn't that surprised, to be honest with you.
Oh, you can be both. I was.
You were surprised and disappointed?
No. I mean, you can be not surprised and disappointed.
Oh, right. That's how I was. Right. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. That's where I was too.
Yeah.
You just want to see something better, and because even they used to say a lot of the fans, oh well, it's so early, 12 o'clock on a Saturday, and it's like, okay, well they moved it to 3:30. You know what I mean? Like
right.
They've tried to do changes as far as in the quad, and I mean John Wildhack. I don't know if you got to watch it, but he got to do an interview. I believe it was Matt Park, and they talked about all the different changes and stuff. And he was saying that this was directly from like fan feedback as far as what they wanted to see different and what they don't like about this, and what they would like to see as far as a better game day experience and the time of the games. You know, why are the games always at 12? Like these are all things.
A lot of that's a network thing too. That's not necessarily up to the school either.
No, not all the time, but it just seemed like in the past, I mean, there's certain things that you could probably try to, you know, John Wildhack, he used to work for ESPN. There's probably some things that, you know, so, yeah. I mean, that was the whole Stephen A. Smith. I thought it was Babers, and we didn't really bring it up, but when I listened to Babers' post or pregame speech today for Florida State, he mentioned that John Wildhack and Stephen A. Smith are pretty good friends, so that's how, you know, he got him up there talking to the football team, and he's got a little bit of pull in some places and knows some people. So if that was one of the gripes, then I don't see any reason why John Wildhack, he wouldn't go out of his way. You know, right. I saw today that the UConn game, the home game, that's a 4:00 kickoff. So as far as I understand,
it's too late. That's dinner time.
No, God, yeah. Get home and let the dogs out. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just frustrating because he goes on and they're making changes and all this stuff.
They're trying to accommodate you.
They're trying to accommodate the fans.
Yeah.
And, you know, Dungy, his senior year, when he's playing, he's nothing but exciting. There's no reason why, while he's healthy, to not want to be, you know, come out and see these guys. So it's just, it's sad. And hopefully next week will change. That'll be the, you know, because at the end of the day, it is Wagner. It is D1 AA team. And some people just don't have the money to go pay for that.
Yeah. And you mentioned Stephen A. Smith. He did come and speak. We tweeted out that this is old news, but something Dungy took away from Stephen A.'s visit.
You told us Tuesday about annihilating teams, and can you just tell me about that mentality and how you guys, you know, what's being said in the huddle, and how you put a team away like this today, and how satisfying it is to see the team play like that?
You know, you just got to annihilate them. I mean, it's just kind of a mindset you got to have. I mean, personally, I don't feel like we played, you know, the best football out there. You know, I feel like we should have won by more, but honestly, I don't really like to look at the score very much, but just from my standpoint, I feel like we could have done a lot better. We could have scored more and more and, you know, gotten, you know, better possessions throughout the whole thing. But, no, that's good. It's going to be good film to watch. It's going to be good film to watch and learn from.
And he was talking about also about how when Stephen A. was there, about how you just got go in and dominate, just have the mindset to just dominate. And that's what they did. And that's really kind of a natural feel for Dungy, I think. I think that's a natural mindset for him. So
yeah, it's a team sport though. Everyone's got to have that mindset.
Yeah, right.
Especially when you're playing against, you know, bigger schools and teams that are bigger, faster, stronger than you. So
right. Anything to wrap up the game real quick?
Nope. I am good. It's just Wagner, remember?
It's just Wagner.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House, the best damn college sports fans in the nation.
All right, so it's time for fan feedback. If you would, go to @Cuse Militia on Twitter, @SYR Ball on Twitter, and @Cuse Militia Podcast on Facebook. I always propose the question, and if you comment on there, you can get in the segment. So, Tim on Facebook says, still need to find a backup QB. Done hearing about Godboy. Tim, he seems like a nice guy. He's on the Facebook page. I've seen him here and there. But he's referred to DeVito a couple times as Godboy, I guess, from being talked up a little bit. You know, it ain't as easy as it looks on the practice field and, you know, in scrimmages and stuff. I think it's natural for a young guy like that to struggle. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So Chad responded and said, you obviously only look at stat line. Ball flies out of the kid's hand. This isn't going to look like Aaron Rodgers after a couple drives with second stringers. So he brings up the point that, he's getting put in there with – right. He's getting put in there with second-team offense, and it's going to take some time to get used to it. Paul on Facebook, great spirit, great fans. The whole experience was wonderful. Fans need to support our team regardless of who we play. Lots of fun.
Thank you.
Lots of fun things on the quad pregame to enhance the game festivities. Go Orange. I like Paul. Paul, that's great. Steven leaves a bit of a comment, but a great complete game. Agree. We need to do something with DeVito, or set up a new backup QB if something happens to Dungy. We might be wishing we had Zach Mahoney back. Ugh. I don't know. I'd be willing to experiment.
There's about 3 quarterbacks on our roster after Dungy that I'd rather have than Mahoney. So
yeah, I would rather have the Knowles coming in a bit overconfident than hungry to prove something. For sure, they will be reminded about what happened to Clemson last year. He goes on. So, Terry, great win, but why up 62-10 in the fourth quarter instead of punting? We go for it on fourth down.
I don't really remember the play he's referring to, but at that point, I don't think I was really paying attention. But
I don't either. Because I think they had who'd they have in there quarterback, Joe?
After DeVito, they had Clayton Welch.
Yeah, there you go. Probably just maybe. Well, he just handed the ball off. So yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
I don't know, Jerry. I don't know what to tell you, man. That might be overthinking it, though.
I don't really think it mattered at that point.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. Mike says, I went to high school with Mike, actually. Fairweather fans, crowd was horrible. I feel bad for the kids coming out of the tunnel and seeing all those empty seats. In a home opener, I can agree with a little bit of that in a home opener. I mean, you want a bigger crowd, to be there. Your first game of the season, long anticipated. You got the star quarterback. I don't know. He's got a point.
Yeah, well, that's to me. That whole thing, it just pisses me off, honestly. And at this point, I think that the team's over that shit. I mean, the last 2 years, it's been the same damn thing, man. It's been the same thing. They get the crap crowds, and they're used to it. At this point, I'd like to think that they're there. They're out there playing for their team. Their brothers next to them. If anyone's listening, and I don't know if they are, who cares? Who cares who shows up? Just go out there and ball. Do your damn thing. Because our fans, you had to go damn 6-0 for them to get them in the seats. It's pathetic. Yeah, there's some diehards out there, and I know a lot of diehards. Yeah. And if you're listening, you know who I'm talking about. But other than that, everybody else, I
think most of the people that would listen to a Syracuse sports podcast are probably pretty diehard.
Probably. But the community's got to be able to come together and support this team, because we don't have state school enrollment numbers that Texas A&M and some of these other schools have, and it's going to be done by the community. It's not going to be done by the students. So,
at Mikey O21, the University of Phoenix Online wasn't able to play us? ? Wagner. Okay, now they should be ready for Clemson. Thumbs down. Okay. I got to be honest. On a comment like that, I've just got to say, I don't care who they play to get to 6 wins. I don't give a crap. At this point, I don't care. That might be a bad attitude. I don't care, though.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No, because it's funny, because they want to make fun of the teams that when we play them and we win, but then when we play tough teams and we don't win a bowl game, it's about the wins and losses at the end of the year. They don't look at who you lose to. Yeah, that's all that matters. Right. You got to get to 6 points for a bowl game. So guess what?
RPI
we have a couple of easy games. Have a couple easy games. So many teams do.
Everybody has, because there's no preseason in college football. They all schedule an easy game in the beginning of the year.
But the last 2 years you talk about having top 20 strength of schedule, and we're going 4-8, and people are whining about it. Well, then we ease up our schedule, and people are whining about it. Go home.
Yeah,
we're 2-0.
Yeah. Let's see. At JD's dad 3, basketball team could have beat them. I doubt that. I doubt that, but that's fine. Whatever. All right.
I don't want to see Chuku or Sidibe anywhere near a football field.
Yeah,
so
no kidding. Chuku can barely pull down a rebound sometimes. Can you imagine?
Oh God! And with those head-to-head calls, people just gonna be taking out their knees.
Oh gosh. All right, Joe. It's time for your MyBookie pick, bro. You're 2-0.
Yes, sir.
Last week you took Virginia Tech with the points 7.5 at FSU. And
they whooped their butt.
They whooped them. The only reason we didn't choose an SU game is because of them playing Wagner. So,
right.
You're 2-0 on your MyBookie pick. Remember, if you join MyBookie right now, they'll match you dollar for dollar on your deposit if you use promo code Cuse to activate the offer. MyBookie online, MyBookie. Get there, and don't forget to use promo code Cuse when creating your account, and you can claim up to $1,000 in free play. Free money. House money. You play, you win, you get paid. All right, Joe. So, FSU comes to the Dome Saturday, September 15th at noon.
Yes,
and there's going to be tons of fans there. They're going to be all over the place.
Hopefully.
There's not going to be anywhere to sit. Delvin Hodges from Samford, that FSU's last opponent, he threw 4 interceptions against FSU, but he completed 65% of his passes, and he had 475 yards. Another D1 AA team, like we mentioned. Final score was 26-36. FSU came out with a win, but they did lead going into the fourth quarter. FSU stands at 1-1. Joe, Syracuse has scored 117 points in 2 games. Can they keep that up against FSU? Can they keep it up enough to pull this win out? And on the MyBookie line right now this is going to change a little bit, but right now Syracuse is getting 3.5 points.
Yes, they are. It opened up at 2.5, but obviously people have been betting Florida State, so it's jumped up to 3.5. And honestly, Sean, you watch Florida State, you just threw some numbers out there. If a D1 AA team with a quarterback like that can do that, I'm not going to say Dungy's going to come out and kill it. And Florida State, I'm sure, is going to be motivated. But so are we. And we've talked about us being kind of vanilla, but don't have a lot of stuff in the playbook. And with them having a new coach, I can tell Willie Taggart, he came from South Florida. He had a great quarterback, Quentin Flowers, run-pass option. He broke so many quarterback records there. It was ridiculous. And he's coming to a team that does have athletes, but their offense wasn't built that way. Their starter, DeAndre Francois, tore his ACL last year. He's coming back from an ACL injury. And he, you can see the hesitance. And they're trying to bring in something that it's very tough to kind of bring in and kind of similar to the first year Babers came in. He's trying to, bring the tempo up. He's trying to do the run pass option read stuff. And you can just see that Florida State's having a tough time kind of adapting to that. And they've definitely had some injuries and some bad breaks on the offensive line as well. So that's really where the struggles have come from. And coming to the Dome and seeing us being motivated and being able to see some stuff that Florida State won't see on film or won't be able to see on film. We went to Florida State last year. We lost 27-24, and Dungy had a broken foot.
Yeah.
And we're getting 3.5 points at home. So I don't really see a reason why I would not take Syracuse plus 3.5. And if it was 2.5, when it opened, then it would have been a little bit more difficult. But sitting back and looking at some of the stats and just seeing the situation, I don't see there's no reason not to take Syracuse plus 3.5.
Where's your matchup going to be? Where's Syracuse's biggest struggle going to be?
Their biggest struggle their biggest struggle is always going to be, especially against Florida State teams like this who have better recruiting classes and stuff like that. It's going to be the speed. It's going to be the athleticism. Just like the guys in Western Michigan that ran past them. There are going to be some big plays. They have a couple great running backs in Patrick and Cam Akers.
Worried about the DBs getting burned?
No, I'm worried about some DBs getting burned. I'm worried about Akers being able to break off a run. Although their offensive line isn't great and our defensive line is a strength, I do see them making some plays.
Hasn't been bad, though.
What's that?
Our run defense hasn't been bad. I know the competition.
No, not at all. No, I'm saying I understand. I think our defensive line is actually one of our strengths, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And they have a bad offensive line, or not a bad, but below their expectations. And they're installing a new offense, and it's the third game of the season. So there's just a lot of positive when it comes to that. And Dungy's a warrior, and I'm sure that they're all upset. I mean, Dungy's probably motivated because that was the team where he got hurt and ended his season, and he went all out and tried to get that W. So I really, really just hope that the fans show up, and that I know our team's going to show up. I know they're going to play a tough game. A lot of times in the past, there's been games like this where nobody's really confident, and there's always a higher chance for a blowout than a good game. But I do not see that like that anymore. After last year, I don't see it like that. Dungy's there, and our team's hungry, and it's a home game, and it's going to be a game. It's going to be a game. It's not the Syracuse of 4 years ago. It's not.
Yeah, it's home too. That's going to make a difference, obviously, compared to last year. We
need the fans. The fans.
Yeah, they got to be loud on third down too. By the way, that was really, really sad.
Relax, it's just Wagner.
It's just Wagner. All right, well, look, it's time to give away Koosies, and I sent
Koosies.
I've been sending them out, boy. I've been sending them out. If you haven't collected, there's one. I forgive me, dang it. And if they don't get to me, if they don't email me by next episode, I will go back and figure out who it was. But there's someone that didn't collect. So,
nope, they lost their chance. Too late.
If you're listening right now, I'll give you another week. All right. So I don't know if this review came in because they want me to say their handle on the air, but here it is. Pimp Daddy Mac says, these guys are funny and knowledgeable. This is much better than other Cuse pods. So Pimp Daddy Mac, okay, you got some koozies coming to you if you email us at CuseMilitia@gmail.com. And
Pimp Daddy Mac, what?
And don't forget, give us a 5-star review and a written review, a 5-star rating and a written review. And if I read your review on the show, you email us CuseMilitia@gmail.com. Give me your address, and I'll send those out.
I think I know that guy.
Pimp, is it you? Is it you, Pimp Daddy Mac?
No.
Are you Pimp Daddy Mac?
No, absolutely not.
Are you sure?
Nope.
You're not positive. Sure. You are positive. Okay.
Oh, are you trying to confuse me? Because it worked. All right.
Oh, boy. All right. That's it. Thanks, everybody who participated in fan feedback. Remember to look out for that. Thanks to everybody for your reviews. If I have not read your review on the show, there may be some point that I go back to it. So please bear with me on that, and I appreciate it. So thanks to James on guitar. That's it. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Beat FSU.
This has been the Cuse Militia Podcast with Sean and Joe. Be heard. Contact us on Facebook at Cuse Militia Podcast and tweet at us using #CuseMilitia.